The day is it's a UN activation that looked at the fair and equitable distribution of wealth and social liberties. The theme, a call for justice in the digital economy. For a better interpretation of this theme and other developments, we're joined by the Chair in Social Justice and the M-Plan convener at the University of Stellenbosch and Thuma Foundation founder, Professor Thuli Madonsela. A very good day to you, and thank you so much for making the time today.
Good afternoon, Desiree. Thank you for the privilege. It is Thuma Foundation minus the MENA part.
A huge apology for that. Now, with global calls to end the digital divide, how are institutions such as the one you work for that seek to highlight social justice engaging with the challenges brought on by the exponential rate of technological change?
Well, Desiree, the University of Stellenbosch, working with many organizations, including the Thuma Foundation, has established a Musa plan for social justice. It's like the Marshall Plan they had after the First World War, which is to galvanize civil society, to have all hands on deck to advance social justice. And that social justice plan will include bridging the digital divide. And I must indicate that when it comes to the digital divide, it is something that we've been talking about a lot since the start of COVID-19, and it has been in our communication with the president or with the presidency and the Minister of Culture about the need to make sure that, firstly, when we plan regulations and services, we think about who will be left behind. And secondly, the need to have measures that make sure that there is digital access for everyone. And that digital access, we believe, will include helping those who don't have digital devices to get them, like they've done with university students. Data assistance, but we also think there should be more regulation to reduce the cost of data, particularly to poor people. Because when you buy prepaid data, it's obscene, the amounts of money that they charge are obscene. And then the third part is to make sure that we have connectivity in the remote areas, even if it means we learn from Kenya and we install some balloons in the sky that will ensure we have connectivity in remote villages and farms.
Just as the theme celebrates digital advancements, one publication has an article themed "Who Cares?" At this time when big issues relate to food insecurity and access to the law. How far is South Africa in the conversation of meaningful access for all?
We are advanced. I've always said, Desiree, that we struggle in South Africa as the most unequal society in the world, not for lack of political will, but for lack of the right science. That we do say we want to include everyone. Then we pass laws, regulations, and programs that are one size fits all, that don't take into account of who's left behind, but don't also take into account the need to always compensate for historical injustice. You can't just compensate for historical injustice in government tenders and things like grants. You have to make sure that the health system, the access to these digital services that we're talking about, the education system, and that all of these services are aligned to our concerns about social justice.
Yeah. Just before coming through to you, we were showing the President's address at the 2021 Armed Forces Day commemoration, and the conversation about social justice cannot be divorced from the fight against COVID-19. Earlier on, when we went into the state of disaster, we spoke to you actually. You had released a statement where you were decrying some of the activities of the armed forces, and just in terms of the rights of South African citizens as we embark on the fight against COVID-19. With hindsight, what are your thoughts about what the president said today, the year that's been where the government has been fighting COVID-19 in relation to the rights of South Africans?
Well, I applaud the messages that the president has been given. What I would suggest, though, is that we need to reinforce messages about respecting human rights and also advancing social justice at all given stages. At the M Plan for Social Justice, we have developed an instrument that is called the Social Justice Impact Assessment Matrix. It's pretty much in line with the Equality Act of the UK, where everything you do as government, before you release it, you subject it to a test of what will be the implications for equality. In our country, it's a constitutional duty to firstly ask, will this advance social justice? Will this advance substantive equality? Will it make sure that there is progressive, equal enjoyment of all human rights and freedoms? We've just appointed a Council of Champions. I must say, Desiree, thank you. You were at the event where we first announced a Council of Champions, and you were the program director, steadily, professionally handled that event for a long time. And it's encouraging to know that the Council of Champions finally set last week on Thursday, and they're very excited about driving their agenda. And they've already divided themselves into work streams, and their names will be provided to you by one of my colleagues, Fanele, and Ashraf Garda, who's one of the members of the Council of Social Justice Champions, is also willing to help us to let the country know who are these champions and how do we connect our lives with them.
How will their work translate into something that citizens can see the impact thereof?
Very soon. The first part of the work, of course, is just messaging, telling everyone it should be all hands to advance social justice, to let everyone, don't be afraid. Social justice is not communism. Social justice is about the fair, just and equitable access to all opportunities, resources, privileges, and even burdens in society. And therefore, social justice is something good for everyone, regardless of your color, your gender, your status regarding disability, or your sexual orientation. So that's the first thing that this Council of Champions will be driving, knowing what social justice is. What's in it for you, which is peace and sustainable development. And thirdly, it is investment in research and projects that will make sure that everyone in this country who's left behind in all of the 4,392 municipalities sees their life changing in significant ways. And they can see social mobility becoming a reality for themselves as older persons and for their children, if they do have children.
Before we let you go, you participated in an event during the week where the Minister of Justice was addressing different aspects of the Chapter 9 institutions within government, and you were there along with the current public protector. Just tell us in terms of the importance of that event and the messaging that came out of there.
Well, the importance of the event is really rallying around these institutions to play their part in terms of the constitutional design, but also the assurance that government or this administration is not going to interfere with the independence of these institutions and will support them to pursue the purpose they were designed for.
Let's thank you so much for talking to us today. You're in an event. In fact, as we speak to you, you're participating in an event for women leadership. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It is going to be a Women Ready to Lead at 2 p.m. today, where we are encouraging women who want to up their leadership quotient to take up more space in leading South Africa, the continent, and the world. And we're presenting them with opportunities to learn from women who have paved the way. We've heard from Mama Albertina Sisulu, or about Mama Albertina Sisulu, Charlotte Maxege, and many others. And today we have somebody who's addressing something that is very relevant to COVID-19. We have Henley Rath, who will talk to us about mental health and self-care. Women are shock absorbers. Women are shock absorbers in our society. And as shock absorbers, they often forget to look after themselves. So today we'll be given instruments and strategies for self-care and preserving and upgrading our mental health.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I wonder if there's a way that the public can participate in this as it starts at 2. Is it open to the public?
It's absolutely open to the public. Check on the Thuma WhatsApp account and their Facebook account. You can approach Thuma through its website, and you can also approach Thuma via Mandisa Shiba, who coordinates this project. I would just say go to their Twitter account quickly or to their Facebook account and register with Mandisa Shiba.
Well, let's let you go.
Thank you, that's right.
Let's let you go, but thank you so much for your time. Professor Thuli Madonsela is the Chair in Social Justice and M-Plan convener at the University of Stellenbosch and Thuma Foundation founder, sharing her perspectives on World Social Justice Day, which was yesterday, the 20th of February. I wonder if such a day has any significance to you. Let us know at the agenda _SABC.